UFC Fight Night Robert Whittaker versus Renan de Ridder takes place this Saturday, and these are my predictions for the entire card. How good is it to have a UFC card at a normal UK time? Like, the card starting earlier must be better for the US audience as well, because at least when the card's finished, you can go about your night. Like, I just think the UFC should move to the Middle East and give us better cards, which we always get better cards in the Middle East, and they started a better time. I think we start a petition. But yeah, in the main event, Robert Whittaker versus Renan de Ridder. I'm not going to be gaslit into picking Renan de Ridder here. I know it's like a lot of people are trying to say Renan de Ridder's the next Dricus du Plessis, and look what DDP done to Robert Whittaker and blah blah blah. Whittaker is lighting Renan de Ridder up. Yeah? I am telling you, Whittaker wins this fight 5-0. Whittaker smokes him. Whittaker is going to jab Renan de Ridder's head off all 5 rounds. Whittaker is too quick on the feet. Renan de Ridder is not going to get close to Robert Whittaker. Now, if Renan de Ridder gets Whittaker down, Renan de Ridder has the advantage in the grappling department in terms of the submissions. But Robert Whittaker isn't easy to take down. I know people are going to look at the Khamzat Chimaev fight and what Khamzat done to him. Renan de Ridder's style of grappling is so different from Khamzat Chimaev's. Also, Renan de Ridder doesn't move as fast as what Khamzat does. Whittaker is going to piece him up. Like, Whittaker is too quick for Renan de Ridder. De Ridder isn't that big of a puncher where you have to start questioning, because, let's be honest, Whittaker's durability has definitely taken a dip, but I still don't think he's as chinny as what people let on. I mean, the guy had a spinning back kick from Paulo Costa to the face, done a bit of a dance, done the stanky leg, walked it off and continued to beat him up. Renan de Ridder isn't getting this fight to the mat. He's not going to beat up Robert Whittaker in the clinch because he's not going to get to the point where he can get the clinch. Robert Whittaker's jab is going to be money all night. His lateral movement is going to be there. The cross followed up with the head kick. He is going to just vintage Robert Whittaker performance against Renan de Ridder. I'm calling it right now. It might be scored 4-1, but I think 5-0. Robert Whittaker, masterclass performance, shows that he still has a lot left to give. Robert Whittaker on the feet is too much for Renan de Ridder, and de Ridder is not getting this fight to the ground. Robert Whittaker wins this fight by a clear, unanimous, one-sided beatdown. I'm telling you, people are going to be making videos after the fight being like, has Robert Whittaker still got it? Robert Whittaker still got it, Robert Whittaker, he hasn't fallen off. Robert Whittaker's back. All that shit, we're going to be like, is Robert Whittaker back? Is Robert Whittaker back? That's the shit we're going to see on YouTube. The algorithm is going to be showing me that shit. Recommended for me is Robert Whittaker back after this performance. He smokes Renan de Ridder. I'm calling it. Co-main event, Petr Yan versus Marcus McGee. Look, I'm seeing some people try and be like, well, Marcus McGee's really good and his striking's different, and he looks like something out of a fucking horror movie. Let's just be honest. No disrespect. Petr Yan beats up Marcus McGee. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to tell you how it is. Petr Yan beats Marcus McGee. Marcus McGee last fought at UFC 309 against Jonathan Martinez. Looked good early on, but then just really struggled with the leg kicks of Jonathan Martinez, which is Jonathan Martinez's specialty. But Petr Yan is just a whole different ballgame. Now, the fact that it's 3 rounds, I think, makes it a bit more competitive for Marcus McGee, because Yan is a slow starter, and he can't be a slow starter in this matchup. I don't think he's going to be. Marcus McGee is older than Petr Yan as well. Petr Yan is like top 3 bantamweights right now. Top 4 maybe. I don't. Who would go? Merab. Would go Merab, O'Malley, Umar, then Yan. I think would be the rankings you would go, in my opinion. Or maybe you'd have Yan above Umar. I'm not too sure, but either way, he's a top 4 UFC bantamweight. Marcus McGee, it's just too much of a jump up for him. Petr Yan's boxing is just going to be money. I think his shot selection as well. I think he's going to really put a bad beating on Marcus McGee. Now, Petr Yan doesn't have the punch power to put Marcus McGee away. So, I think Petr Yan's going to beat him by decision. A very one-sided, comfortable decision. Moving on, Shara Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Shara Bullet is going to knock out Marc-Andre Barriault. I don't know about knockout, because Shara Bullet doesn't really have that type of like out cold KO power, but he is gonna piece Marc-Andre Barriault up there so bad. Like I reckon a late second round TKO. He beats him up in the first round, completely beats him up in the second round. Marc-Andre Barriault isn't the most durable guy either. Sharon Magomedov's striking is just gonna be too much. Marc-Andre Barriault doesn't really have that massive grappling threat that you would like to see someone have going in there against Sharon Magomedov in a striking matchup. It's just not even close. Sharon Magomedov will get back in the win column with a pretty brutal beatdown of Marc-Andre Barriault, in my opinion. I'm going for second round TKO. Moving on, Asu Amabayev. This fight has been changed. Asu Amabayev versus Jose Ochoa, if I remember correctly. I think that's going to be a really fun fight. Asu Amabayev, obviously grappling heavy. Jose Ochoa, striking heavy. I think it's going to be a really fun one. I think Jose Ochoa is going to be able to I think he will get taken down by Asu Amabayev, but be able to get back to his feet and standing. Ochoa is way better than Asu Amabayev, in my opinion. I'm going to go for Ochoa to win against Asu Amabayev by decision. Making our way on down to the main card opener, we have got Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov. Now, Nikita Krylov is coming off that brutal knockout after that long layoff against Dominic Reyes. This should be a very easy fight for Nikita Krylov. Now, what I need Nikita Krylov to do for this fight is turn this on. Yeah, your fucking brain. Flip the switch. Flip. I don't know nobody else is doing this. Shout out Drizzy Drake. But yeah, if he grapples against Bogdan Guskov, this is a very one-sided, easy win for Nikita Krylov. Whether he does that or not, I'm not too sure. Because if not, how is his durability? He's coming off a massive, brutal KO against Dominic Reyes. Bogdan Guskov can crack, in fairness. But I trust that Nikita Krylov will go to the well with his grappling. And I think he can submit Bogdan Guskov pretty easy, in my opinion. I mean, Volkan Oezdemir submitted him. Nikita Krylov can definitely do the same. I'm going for Nikita Krylov to win this by... Could he win it by TKO with ground and pound? I don't know. Either way, Nikita Krylov wins this by finish, in my opinion. Bryce Mitchell versus Said Nurmagomedov. Bryce Mitchell making the cut to 135 for the first time ever. So we need to see how he looks on the scale. Said Nurmagomedov, I know that he's got this second name, but he actually isn't a grappler. He's more of a flashy striker. Now, he does have very dangerous front chokes, and Bryce Mitchell leaves his neck out when he shoots for takedowns. That's a problem. We've seen it in a couple of fights, most notably the Gene Silva one. So that is a problem because front choke Said Nurmagomedov is dangerous with them. And I think Bryce Mitchell is a pretty underrated striker, but Said definitely has the advantage there. We need Bryce Mitchell to be smart with his grappling. Don't leave his neck out there. And if he's able to implement his grappling and be smart with it, I think it's a pretty one-sided fight for Bryce Mitchell if he can get his grappling off. If he can't, I think he gets beat up by Said Nurmagomedov on the feet. But, I mean, Bryce Mitchell's coming off that beating to Gene Silva. This is a tough one to pick. What are the odds for this? Don't have any. Bryce Mitchell. I'm going Bryce Mitchell decision. He's still my boy! Bryce Mitchell. Although, if this is a close fight, look at the surname. Where are we? Abu Dhabi. If it's a close fight, Saeed's probably taking it. But I'm going for Bryce Mitchell. I'm going to manifest this. Bryce Mitchell win. Muslim Salikov versus Carlos Leal. Look, Muslim Salikov is about 185 years of age. Carlos Leal, I actually think he's pretty good. He did beat Renat Fakretnov, in my opinion. I think he's like minus 500 if I remember correctly. I checked the odds earlier. He is just going to beat Muslim Salikov easy, in my opinion. Davey fucking Grant, mate. Keep it fucking lemon, chum. Davey Grant versus Damon Blackshear. Again, very similar to Nikita Krylov, Bogdan Guskov. If Damon Blackshear uses his grappling, this is a very easy night at the office for him. If he doesn't, he's in trouble because Davey Grant is a pretty decent striker and he can crack. So it all comes down to, is Damon Blackshear going to utilise his grappling? I'm going to say yes. I think Damon Blackshear will beat Davey Grant. I'm going to say decision. I don't want to pick a submission. I'm going to say Damon Blackshear wins by utilising his grappling by decision. Moving on, Amanda Ribas versus Tabitha Ritchie. Amanda Ribas is going to win this one. Abu Aslam versus Billy Elikanda. I can't say a second name. Yeah, obviously both guys are coming off losses by submission, if I remember correctly. Abu Aslan, I think he went to Dagestan for this camp, so he's obviously been working on his grappling because Ion Kutalaba submitted him in his last fight. But this guy's looking to take your head off, and I think he does that this time around against Billy. I think Abu Aslan wins this fight by stoppage. Moving on, Muhammad Yahya versus Stephen Nguyen. I can never say his second name either. I don't know if you're aware of the pronunciation of some names by me. I can't fucking say them, yeah. Muhammad Yahya is one of the worst fighters in UFC history. My boy Steven, I'm going to pick him to win this one. And finally, Martin Buday versus Marcus Buchecha. Marcus Buchecha is going to beat Martin Buday very, very early on in the first round by submission or TKO ground and pound. I think he's going to utilise his grappling. So yeah, those are my predictions for UFC Fight Night Robert Whittaker versus Renan de Ridder. I am going to be doing a watch along for this card, so make sure you do tune in. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.